My name is Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan, and today we're continuing our video series designed to educate the public, so please subscribe to our channel. Today we're going to talk about the difficult X, and specifically as it relates to co-parenting with that difficult X. Here's the scenario. You got a divorce, you had a child, you have a custody arrangement with the child, but you're very reasonable, and your ex is extremely difficult, extremely combative, non-cooperative, obnoxious. We've all had a situation like that. How does one co-parent with an ex who's like that? Well, first of all, I think that if you're going to have that situation and you're going to try to co-parent with that ex, it's appropriate to sit down in a neutral place and define certain expectations. And there's nothing wrong with you saying to your difficult ex, look, I know you want certain things, and you want the child on certain times during the week, during the month. You're going to want to rely on that. I'm going to want to rely on it also. I have certain expectations as well. Let's share our mutual expectations and see if we can work something out. You may find that within the structure of that, your ex may be able to say something, and despite his or her attitude, the essence of what they're saying is something you can work with. So we should define the rules, define the expectations, and set up guidelines to minimizing the conflict. What might that mean? Well, for example, maybe if your child is old enough, instead of you going up to the porch to retrieve your child, maybe you wait by the curbside and let the child come out. Minimize the contact. Maybe that's a way to do it. A lot of the courts have certain electronic means set up for communication that are monitored, that are perhaps better than private texting or some sort of chat where one person can blow up, on the other. It might be better to utilize those because those are monitored, and if your explosive ex goes into a rant about something, it'll be available for the court, and there will be a possibility of some reaction. And knowing that, it might keep things in line with the explosive acts. And that's a good way to do that. Ultimately, you should have neutral, structured communication. What I mean by neutral, structured communication is every time there's a situation where two people get divorced, no matter how you try to avoid the problem, there is always lingering underneath this feeling or need to advocate your case, to restate your position, to make sure the other side is aware that this is all their fault, that kind of thing. And it's really challenging for some people to stop advocating, to just be benign in their conversation, and to speak unemotionally and neutrally, particularly about the kids. But it's important to be neutral. It's important to be benign, because if you're not, you're just going to inflame the situation, and then you two will never be able to get along. I've had clients who will come to me and they'll bring me all this evidence. And they'll say, I should get custody for reasons A through double X, okay? They have all these reasons. We go to court for the first pretrial, and they don't understand why the court won't let them go through their list. And the answer is because you don't try your case every time you open your mouth. The answer is you don't want to reveal your hand to the other side so fast. You say that for evidentiary hearings or trials, but it's hard for some people to do. It's the same thing in this context. A lot of times, even though the case is over, people still, just internally, they feel they have to advocate for themselves, and they still have to prove their point. Resist the temptation to do that. Neutralize the conversation. Make it benign, unemotional. If you do that and communicate in that way, it's much less likely that you'll have this sort of inflammatory response that leads to unproductive communication. If you have any questions about that, reach out. We'll be glad to help you out.